What's up, everybody? My name is Michael. I am the owner of Lime Life Logistics LLC, a scooter logistics company for specifically the Lime Scooter Company. If you're in any big city and you know about the electric scooters and bikes that are most likely on every corner, then you know about Lime Scooters. If you want more information on how to get started doing this, or if you find any good relevant information to what you're doing, please hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up, and stay tuned. Thanks. So in this video, I wanted to give a little bit of rundown on how I got started doing Lime scooters, and a little bit of history about myself, I guess. So to start from the very beginning, I was a very troubled teenager, got in a lot of trouble. Started going to juvenile when I was like 12 years old, and went to prison when I was like 18, 17. And that's where I sat for 6 years until I was 24. Within those 6 years, I was at a couple work camps, did a lot of manual labor for free and stuff, learned a lot of lessons in that 6 years. Got out of prison when I was 24. I met my wife like 6 months after that and have been married ever since. So I'm 35 now. For the next, after that, I got out of prison, and I went to, just FYI, I just went to prison for selling drugs and burglary, robbery, a couple other dumb things, bad decisions as a teenager. And so after I got out when I was 24, I started selling drugs again, mostly. Tried to work a couple of jobs and never really could do the whole job thing. I, could hold a job. I worked one place for like 2 years as a forklift driver. I've worked in a lot of different warehouses, driving trucks. I've really tried to direct myself to the logistics field because I've always worked in warehouses and stuff, and to be honest with you, the logistics department was always the department that worked the least and got paid some of the most money. So that's kind of the career path that I chose, was logistics, and now I own a logistics company. But once I got out of prison, when at 24, I was still selling drugs. I was in Georgia. I was born in New York, grew up most of my life in Georgia, but went to prison, and then, kind of started doing the same thing when I got out, not really doing anything with my life or anything like that until I was probably, I want to say 28, 29, when I really started thinking about things and thinking that I needed to kind of get my stuff together for my kids. My kids are 7 and 8 now, and they're kind of the reason why I stopped doing a lot of the stuff that I was doing and got my act together a little bit. I'm still not perfect, of course, but I'm a much better person than I was, 15, 20 years ago, 10 years ago, and I only keep on getting better and better by the day. I hope so, anyway. So, but anyway, I bounced around a little bit from Georgia to Colorado whenever the pandemic happened, back in like 2021. I lost my job in Atlanta, and I had a house. I had a job in Atlanta with, where me and my wife and my 2 kids were living. And then I lost that, got laid off, and moved to Colorado so basically I could get cheaper weed and make more money doing that kind of stuff. But as we all know, those kinds of activities lead to nowhere, pretty much, you know? So I kind of stopped doing all that. And, well, I mean, for the longest time, I was still doing it, but I was traveling back and forth from Georgia to Colorado, and I started doing um, Lime scooters in Atlanta. I had seen a YouTube video about it probably a long time before I even started doing it, but I decided to look it up and try to do an application or whatever. And back then, you just went on the Lime app, the Rider app, and hit Earn with Lime, and you would be onboarded, you know, sent all of your information, and then they would onboard you, and you would get started charging Lime scooters. Back then, we didn't have battery swaps. We just had, you know, the scooters, and we would have to pick up the whole scooter and take it back to wherever place we had to charge it, and charge it up, and then deploy it back to the street. So once I started doing that, I was kind of still back and forth from Georgia to Colorado, and I was kind of doing both, you know, selling weed and doing the Lime thing in Atlanta. And then I figured out I could do it up there in Denver as well. So I started doing the Lime thing in Denver while I was there, and doing it in Atlanta while I was there, and just kind of got started doing it like that. And I got more and more interested in doing it. I started going to Washington, D.C. to work, or whatever other market that I was interested in working in, you know, because there's markets all over the United States in any major city. So in most major cities anyway. But that's kind of how I got started. And then I partnered with somebody as a logistics partner, which is somebody who is able to hire contractors and have people, or employees, and have people working for you and making money, like obviously like I do, who, you know, I have a bunch of contractors who change these batteries for me and move scooters and bikes around for me and all that. And obviously as a logistics partner, I get a portion of those earnings. It goes mostly towards, you know, operational expenses like this warehouse, the electricity to charge these batteries, stuff like that, you know, hiring costs and all that good business stuff, which, you know, it's for a whole nother separate video. I'll get into that later and do a whole video about all of my expenses and break them down for you, and give you a better understanding of the financial side of being a logistics partner. But back to the story. So I lived in Denver for like 4 or 5 years, and that's where I stayed for a good while and worked there. I quit selling weed because I was making so much money doing the Lime thing. I didn't really need to take the risk anymore. Didn't want to risk it for my kids or anything like that, you know, going to prison again. So then I just kind of decided one day that I wanted to go to Seattle, and because I found out how much higher the prices were here in Seattle versus Denver. So I decided one day that I was going to come out here to Seattle and give it a shot. My partner in Denver didn't like that very much, so that was the end of that partnership. I'm kind of happy that happened because it all worked out. I got here, found another partner, and partnered with somebody here in the Seattle area, and then that whole partnership went sour for a couple different reasons, and I ended up going to the line manager asking for my own account, and that's when I became my own logistics partner, where Lime Life Logistics LLC is the main holder of the account, and I no longer have a partner. I am a solo logistics partner. Some people have partnerships or have whole, you know, groups of people who are a logistics partner. I have tried the partnership thing twice and it failed, and, you know, kind of just prefer to do it on my own now because I can. But, you know, that's not to say that there might be some people who work better as a partnership and can make more things happen as a partnership. Um, but so that's kind of the whole, rundown of how I got here. I'm not really a 9 to 5 kind of guy, and I kind of fell in love with the Lime thing because I am my own boss, and I'm able to give other people the opportunity to be their own boss. All my contractors, they kind of work when they want to, and so they're able to work. They're able to write their own check basically, and make as much money as they want to every week. Me myself, that's how I kind of prefer it, and that's because as an hourly worker, you make a set amount of money per hour, no matter how hard or how little you work, versus me as my own boss and my contractors. They we and them make more if we're working harder in an hour, versus if we're not working so hard in an hour, then obviously we're going to make much less. So those are kind of the biggest benefits, to doing Lime, is you really get rewarded for how much you put in and how hard you work, versus a regular job. You're just another one of the masses who is getting another hourly wage just like everybody else, and doesn't matter how hard you work. The goal is to do as many hours as possible with doing as little amount of work as possible. This is the total complete opposite, and that's why I love it. It's exciting. I get to ride around all over Seattle, all over the United States. I've done this, in quite a few different cities like Austin, Texas, and Colorado Springs, Denver, obviously, Washington, D.C., Seattle. So I get to see a lot of places, a lot of new places and stuff. Hopefully this next year or two, I'm going to be expanding into some other cities, into some other markets. So hopefully I'm going to be coming to another city near you. So big things to come in the future. Please, like I said, hit that subscribe button. Give me a thumbs up if you found anything informative or helpful, or just like the story and want to hear more. Drop down in the comments what you want to know, what city you're in, if you do Lime scooters yourself, if you've had success or failure doing Lime scooters, because some people have done this and it's not for them. It definitely isn't for everybody. If it's for you, it's for you. If it's not, it's not. It's just kind of one of those things. It's like any other profession or trade. It requires, built skills over a period of time. And if you're expecting to just get rich quick doing this, then you're probably not going to make very much money at all, and you're probably going to quit very quick. There's a learning process, and has taken me almost 5 years to really get it down to where I'm making, a good amount of money. So if you're doing this and you can't really figure it out, or don't know how to make a whole lot of money yet, please don't get discouraged. Keep going, keep trying, get out there, even when the map looks like crap. Get out there, get some practice in, so when everything blows up, you'll be ready for it. Anyway, like I said, hit that subscribe button, hit that thumbs up. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for all the support to the 31 subscribers so far. I really do appreciate it. And I'll see you on the next one.